You are listening to Mostaccioli Murder, Book 1 of the Jade Sommer series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2020. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 10. I figured I would tag along with Aunt Dot and Kobe to visit Nana. Mom was busy with Dad, and with the uncles probably already shuffling cards in the hospital room, too many people cramped the space. Plus, I hadn't seen Nana in a couple of years. I never could reconcile the fact that Aunt Dot was Nana's daughter. Nana had been a dancer in her younger days. She was spirited and joyful. Aunt Dot, not so much. Aunt Dot drove us to Your Time Acres. The community was touted as an oasis for active seniors. I wasn't so sure about that. However, as we passed through the gated community, we did pass a few perky seniors who wore jogging gear and visors. The community was lovely with its grassy areas trimmed to perfection. The condo living arrangements were like little hives clustered in 4-unit sections along the pathway. People zoomed about in golf carts along the many walking paths. Aunt Dot nearly got clipped by a cart, and she had a thing or two to say about it in a very loud, scolding voice.
They shouldn't allow golf carts here,
Aunt Dot complained.
Most of these people don't even have licenses anymore. It's a wonder they don't all run each other over.
Does Nana have a golf cart? I asked. Aunt Dot tisked, which I took as a yes.
Maybe you can talk some sense into her. None of us can.
If Aunt Dot couldn't sway Nana, there was no way I could. Kobe recorded with his phone as we drove through the community, which made Aunt Dot roll her eyes every time she glanced in the rearview mirror.
Why are you recording? There's nothing interesting here.
He gave a shrug.
Last time we visited Nana, she was judging a cannonball competition. Never know what we'll find.
Cannonball competition? I asked. Aunt Dot sighed. Kobe nodded.
She's always up to something.
Aunt Dot sighed again. This should be interesting. When we reached Nana's condo, Aunt Dot parked and we walked up the concrete sidewalk to her door. Aunt Dot sharply rapped on the door.
Mom, it's me.
No answer.
She might be on her patio,
Aunt Dot said as she began walking the perimeter of the condo. Kobe and I followed her.
It's nearly lunchtime. Maybe she and the girls met up for lunch, but I told her we would be coming.
Which means she's probably hiding somewhere,
Kobe whispered to me. I didn't doubt that. However, we did find her on her patio. She was not alone. A man with a full head of gleaming white hair sat next to her on the wicker love seat.
Hello, Mother,
Aunt Dot said, ignoring the man who was holding Nana's hand. Not just holding. He was stroking the side of her hand with his thumb. A very subtle caress, but it was there. Nana was getting some action. When Nana saw me, her smile widened, taking years off her aging face. Her blue eyes twinkled.
Jade, when did you get back?
She asked as she stood and tugged me into a bear hug. Her hugging muscles were still in prime condition, and her Mountain Dew yellow hair was pulled up into a knot at the top of her head. Not too long ago, I said when she released me. I've been helping out at the restaurant since Dad is in the hospital and they are short a few employees.
How is Clark feeling today? I went to go see him yesterday and he looked pretty good. He was playing cards with the boys, so he can't be all bad.
I think he's doing good.
Well, have a seat. This is Walter. Walter, this is my granddaughter Jade. You know the other two?
Aunt Dot sniffed as if she smelled something unpleasant, and then took a seat farthest away from Walter. Walter just smiled. Nice to meet you, I said, taking a seat next to Nana in a wicker chair.
It's nice to meet you too,
Walter said, looking as if he meant it. I'm not sure why Aunt Dot was in such a fuss about Walter. He seemed nice. I'd have to ask Kobe later. He was off videoing a butterfly that was fluttering near a geranium.
How are you feeling, Mom?
Nana waved her off.
I'm fine, always am. So, Jade,
She said, turning to me.
have you seen Logan since you've been back?
Nana asked the same question every time I visited her. Not that I wanted to, but yes, I've seen him. Why?
I saw him when they brought Clark into the hospital. He's looking good.
From her tone, she'd had no shame eyeing him up. Why was Logan there? I asked.
You know he loves Clark just like a father. Of course he'd be there.
That's nice of him, I said, glancing over to Kobe for rescue, but Kobe was now onto a bumblebee.
I just thought maybe it was time to mend fences.
The fences are okay as they are,
You know she's engaged.
Aunt Dot said.
Stop meddling.
I'm not meddling.
Nana said, but the devious twinkle in her eye said otherwise.
Mother,
Aunt Dot warned.
Oh, fine, I'll stop.
We all knew she wouldn't. How's life here? I asked, changing the subject.
We keep busy, don't we, Walter?
He gave a dutiful nod.
See? We're good. Anyway, I want to hear the juicy news. What's going on with the dead delivery guy? Do they have any leads?
Logan's taking care of it, I said.
it's all handled.
Aunt Dot said, at the same time. Ever since Nana caught a dine and dasher in the restaurant 20 years ago, she fancied herself part police officer and part ninja. Anytime there was a whiff of trouble in the neighborhood, she'd be the first one to start asking questions and poking her nose in. Feathers were always ruffled, and yet she persisted. Nana waved us off.
Do they have any leads?
We wouldn't know. The police don't go around telling people about their cases. Either way, it's over.
I wonder who did it. And why noodles? It had to be that line chef who quit. Who else would have access to the kitchen knife and a strainer of noodles?
Aunt Dot sighed.
Has anyone talked to Lars?
I'm sure Ross gave Logan all of the information,
Maybe you should call Logan and check.
Nana suggested. Aunt Dot sighed again.
You should get your lungs checked out.
Nana said to Aunt Dot.
You sound like you're having trouble breathing.
I'm fine, Ma.
If you say so.
Well, this is fun, I said, hoping my sarcasm didn't come through. At this point, I'd rather read another email from Mila than sit here. As it was, I still hadn't answered any of her messages. I felt bad. But what could I say? The sting of what happened hurt like hell, and I had no control over whether the company was going to sue me. What could I reply back except to say thanks for the update and take care? That seemed too curt.
So tell me about your fiancé. We haven't talked since you got engaged.
Could she read my mind? I work with him, I said.
And?
And what?
Tell me more.
Perhaps I should just come clean and tell everyone what happened. It'd be better than having to directly lie to Nana. I'm sure that was an offense that would get me sent straight to hell, but I didn't want the pity, and I certainly didn't want Nana to think that was the sign I should get back together with Logan. He works with me. We bought a condo. He likes some sports. He has nice teeth.
Sounds like a bulleted list instead of a fiancé.
Aunt Dot sighed again. He's nice, I added, which was true until he blindsided me. But maybe I shouldn't have been blindsided. He worked late nights frequently, which should have been a sign. I just thought he was devoted to making his team succeed. Alan wasn't the first man to blindside me, but I vowed he'd be the last. It was nearing the end of my shift, and I was exhausted and cranky. The tips were lousy, and I was beginning to feel stuck in a rut. It was as if no time had passed, and I had never left home to pursue my dreams.
Jade,
Kobe said as he waved to me from the dishwashing station.
come here.
What? I asked, dropping the pizza bag off by the phone as I headed over to him.
I need your help tomorrow.
With what?
Mr. Lee asked me to do a video for his restaurant. I need extras.
What kind of video?
Kind of like an ad, but with more flavor.
Flavor?
You know, you get to see inside the restaurant. It's not just a slogan, it's real life, like reality ads.
He paused and then grinned so widely it scared me a bit.
Reality ads, that's brilliant. I could make this a thing. This could be my break.
I walked away as his eyes glazed over in thought. Whatever was going through his mind, I didn't want to be around when he decided to pursue it. Any orders? I called to the line.
You're up in 2 minutes.
Aunt Dot said. She turned to the chef next to her.
And for Pete's sake, don't drown the pasta in sauce. It's not soup.
I walked away again. It had been a long time since I had known any of the kitchen staff's names. They were there and gone so quickly that by the time I met one, another would take their place. Restaurant work was tough, the pay was crap, and the patrons were even worse. I didn't blame a single person for quitting, especially if they had to work alongside Aunt Dot for an entire shift. Being related to her was one thing. Working for minimum wage in a hot kitchen with her was another. Perhaps Chef Lars did kill Wayne. Maybe Aunt Dot got him so wound up that he killed the first person he saw, which happened to be Wayne. I headed over to the office. From the doorway, I saw Ross sitting at the desk. Hunched over his computer, he looked as if someone had scolded him. "Did you have a fight with Aunt Dot again?" I asked. Ross tore his eyes away from the screen.
No, but...
A server wedged inside the office, bumping me into the doorframe.
Sorry. Ross, some lady is yelling at Paula about the food. Paula is about to break the tray over the woman's head. You know Paula has a short fuse.
Perhaps Paula killed Wayne. Ross nearly sprinted out the door, knocking into me. Apparently, I was invisible. As I waited for Ross to sort out the problem, I sat in the office chair and spun in a circle until my eyes came to rest on the computer. The financial app was open. While I didn't have a degree in accounting, I did know that a negative sign in front of a number wasn't good. Looking closer, I scanned the screen. The restaurant was losing money. I clicked to open up the history and found it had been losing money for quite some time.
Jade, order up.
I grabbed a sticky note and scribbled a message onto it. "We are talking about this later." I slapped it on the screen and headed out to get my order. After placing the food in the warming box on the scooter, I zoomed out of the alley and past Lee's. Something from the corner of my eye caught my attention. I only had a second to look before my view was cut off. A dark figure slammed another figure against the brick wall next to Lee's. As soon as I had an opportunity to turn around, I returned. Ordinarily, I might not be brave enough to interfere in a physical squabble, but it was right in front of Lee's. I couldn't ignore it. I pulled alongside just as the figures broke apart. The larger of the two people passed under a streetlight for a moment before glaring at me and disappearing into an SUV. Mr. Cheerful. What was he doing here? And who was he fighting with? I glanced back at the smaller figure. Landon. "You okay?" I asked.
Fine.
He muttered. Since he was hooded and it was dark, trying to see if he was telling the truth was difficult. "What does that guy want with you?"
None of your business. Go back to slinging pizza and stay out of my way.
Wayne owed that guy money. Do you owe him money? Is that what the vase thing is about?
Stay out of it, Jade, or you'll regret it.
He stalked off in the opposite direction. Did Landon just threaten me? I wasn't sure, but I knew enough to back off for now. However, the connection between the three men nagged at me. Something was going on, and Landon was in over his head. If he wasn't careful, he'd end up like Wayne.